Many people count on their tax returns to either help them pay bills, decrease their debt, or they put it towards a special purchase. This afternoon, our financial expert Paul Hood from Hood CPAs is here with us to share his advice on the best way to use your tax return. Paul, always good seeing you on a Monday.
Good to see you. Heck yeah, it's good to be here.
Okay, so a lot of people, they think that their tax return is getting an extra check from the government, but it's really been their money all along.
Yeah, so I tell a story to help people understand is, let's say you go into a really nice restaurant and you check your jacket, they go and hang it up, and then after dinner they bring you the jacket back. And if you start jumping up and down, getting all excited because the restaurant gave you a jacket, then you don't understand. It was your jacket the entire time. So a large portion of people's refunds is just their money. Now a lot of people know that. They treat it almost like forced savings. And let the IRS keep their money.
Sure. Okay, so if people are getting a return back, what would you suggest the best way to use that money? What would your advice be for people on what do I want to do with this money?
Well, it's always short-term decisions really don't have a whole lot of impact. So what I would tell you is people need to do more planning, figure out where their money's coming from, where it's going, and set a budget anyway. But when you have these windfalls, quote-unquote windfalls, it's good to save a portion of it. Maybe pay off some credit card or pay down on some credit card for part of it, and maybe go out to eat or whatever. So you got to have a little bit of fun. You can't be a stooge, a Scrooge, and then and on the other end just spend it all. So always save a portion of it.
So if somebody would like to save, would you suggest putting it just in a traditional savings account or maybe invest?
So what matters with that is when do they want to have access to it. So if you want to have that safety feeling that I can get to it if I need it, then just a traditional savings account. The best way to do is maybe put it in a Roth or an IRA, because then there's penalties for taking it out. So there's an inhibit. You're not. It's not as easy to get to.
Right. Not tempting.
Yeah,
you know it's there. There's you're scrolling and you see that thing. I want to press purchase.
Yep.
Can't do that necessarily.
That's exactly right.
If it's in an IRA.
Sure.
Now, finally, if someone is getting a larger return, is it a good idea to budget that money out? You touched on this a bit. Should they put some towards saving and then some towards spending? What would the plan be?
Well, the first step I would do if I was advising is see why they got such a big refund. Because if it's all their money, there wasn't earned income credit or some negative tax that they got extra money, then really it's a bad financial decision because they're giving the government an interest-free loan. Maybe they're paying interest on their credit cards or their house, their cars, but they're giving Uncle Sam their money to hold. So the first thing I would do is figure out why they're getting such a big refund and then potentially reduce their withholdings so that they don't have as much taken out.
Sure.
So they can budget throughout the year with it.
So people are starting to get their W-2s back in. People are starting to file. What would your #1 piece of advice be for someone that's like, okay, I gotta buckle up. Let's do my taxes this weekend?
Well, the main thing is the tax code is fairly simple right now. If you're just an employee and you just have a W-2, a lot of times you can do that yourself. But if you've got kids, you've got rental property, you've got a business, there's a lot of people. Research shows there's a substantial amount of money that's left on the table because people try to do their own return when they shouldn't. And so I would say seek advice from somebody that knows what they're doing if you don't have the simplest of the simple return.
I always think if I have just a little bit of a question, I'm going to take a step back and give it to someone that does it for a living.
Amen.
Right.
That's right.
Paul, it's always good seeing you. Thank you for your advice.
Thank you.